M3.
Welcome to the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast,
M3.
the #1 resource for automotive sales professionals, managers, and owners
M3.
to learn how to make money, accumulate wealth, and to all out ball out in the auto industry. And now your hosts, Sean V. Bradley and L.A. Williams.
1, 2, 3, 4,
M3.
Hey, what's happening, everyone? This is L.A. Williams, Vice President with Dealer Synergy and the creator of the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. You know I got my main man, Mr. Sean V. Bradley, the creator of the Millionaire Car Salesman Group and the entire brand, man. I am super excited. Y'all got us together. What's up, Sean?
Yo, listen, I feel like it's Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or all the above because we in LA don't get to do the podcast together because we're so busy with all these clients and like that. But man, this is a special day because not only do I get to co-host with my main man, the Blind Master, but we have one of our rock star, nationally successful clients that went from literally 75 units on the internet to 320 units a month online. But here's the kicker. In a population of, was it LA? Was it 5 million people? Was it even a million? Was it even
Not even close.
It was 2,500. So hell yes, we've got us. I'm gonna let LA do the introductions like Bruce Buffer from It's Time. Who we got?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, you guys, you're in for such a treat because this young lady, I mean, I'm telling you, I remember when she got hired as just a regular coordinator. She was just a regular BDC agent, saw her way to becoming an internet director, saw her way to becoming a director of, training for all of it. Now she is a general sales training director. And man, I'm telling you, I want y'all to put your hands together for the one and only Miss Jenna Blankenbiller. What's up, Jenna?
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
Wow, Jenna, listen, I want to first start by saying how proud we are of you. I mean, like what LA just said is, man, to see from the day you got hired to evolution. And again, I know you're an adult, but like LA and I are like proud papas. Papas that to see you coming through and you are what possibility looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like for somebody that comes into the industry that has no experience in BDC operations and to achieve what you achieved is insane. So let's start LA. Are you okay with this, Blind Master? Can we get a little background from Jenna? Can you tell us a little bit of who you are, where you come from? How did you get into the automotive industry? Let's start there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually grew up in Berks County, outside of Reading, Pennsylvania, and graduated high school and came up to the Harrisburg area from college. I went to Central Penn College. I actually learned that that's where Malik had went too. So that was a nice little connection that me and Malik came together with. I actually have a degree in hotel restaurant management. So I joined out of college and managed some restaurants for a little bit and got out of the restaurant career and started selling cars at another company for Nissan, and had done that for a while and went back into the restaurant business and then went back into the buy here, pay here business for a while. Did the buy here, pay here business for probably about like 5-6 years or so, and then decided to jump into Bob Ruth Ford, and here I am. Started as a BD agent and just kind of jumped on this incredible journey, and I don't regret any of it.
Wait a minute. So you know that my wife was from the Reading area as well, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's right here. So she went to Ole High School.
Oh my God, I went to Fleetwood. We were right next door.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy, Jenna.
That is so.
You had no idea?
I had no idea. That was so crazy. Ole Valley was known for field hockey. They like bred field hockey players, and I played field hockey for Fleetwood.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So look at all these discoveries we're finding.
Right? Oh my gosh, that is wow.
So let me ask you a question, because what I want to know is, look, you're managing a restaurant. This is what you went to school for, right? Why would you start selling cars? Could you explain that to us?
So yes, actually, because when I sat down and applied for my job selling cars, I looked at it as if I could sell a steak to anyone and make it sound good, I was like, I could sell a car, you know what I mean? Like, it's bigger, it's glamorous, it's wonderful. Like, I was like, that'll be easy. And then I was 100% correct. I was like, oh my God, I was like, people love cars. They love, getting new cars, shiny objects, new technology. So it was really easy to transition from restaurant to selling cars. And absolutely, if you can talk to an angry customer who just got a steak cooked wrong, you can talk to anybody.
Wow, that is phenomenal. Now, here's the thing. This is something that Sean and I say all the time. This automotive industry is one of those industries that even if you leave, you're going to get sucked right back in, right? So 100%. How come you left? And then tell us about that transition, leaving and then being dropped back into it.
So I left because for some crazy reason, I was like, oh man, I missed the restaurant business. I did. And we actually had moved back to Reading for a little bit. And I think it was just like the safety net, the go-to back into the restaurant business. And then as soon as we came back up to the area, I was like, nope, I need to get back into that. Like, I need to get back into that business.
What's the financial differences look like? Tell us that.
It is a big difference. It is a huge difference. Yeah, absolutely. Because even like in restaurant businesses, like some companies, even the companies I work for, they do have like some of the quarterly bonuses that you get, but it's nothing compared to the commissions and everything monthly that you get. It's not quarterly or anything like that. And, you might get like $1,000 or $2,000 or maybe $3,000 or $4,000, but I mean, you get like $1,000 or $2,000, $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 every month.
Yeah. Absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, come on. This is the Millionaire Car. We're not shy about talking about money. So anyway, all right. So you came here and then you started when because I came to your dealership. I remember that you and I were doing some phone training and things. I don't even know if we're on Zoom yet. This is pre-pandemic. And I remember you got promoted, right? So because you started working with Sean directly. Remember when Sean was giving you that coaching?
Yep. I was going to say, because I think I even started talking with Karen first thing too, just to get on the right path as well.
Let's go this way. I want to frame this for our audience because it's important that Bob Ruth Ford has been a Dealer Synergy client. I think, what are we on, 7 or 8 years now? It's a lot. It's been how long like that, dealership? How long have you been at the dealership?
I have now been at the dealership coming up on my 3rd year.
Okay. And this was way before. So this might be about 7 years, I think. So I think we're 6-7 years. I lost some time that we've been working with you guys, which is amazing. But what was crazy is when we first got the account, the dealership was only doing 75 units a month at the internet. That like nobody was really excited about the internet. The salespeople were experienced and they were like internet schminternet, you know what I mean? Like, and it was like every other typical dealership that it was difficult for them to see value off of the floor, off of the lot to focus on it. And then we flipped it within like literally like 3 to 4 months. It went from 75 to like 100, 150 cars. And you guys weren't even using our full system. And Rob always talks about it. It took another year before you guys went all in. And then you guys got to 320 cars was the most in a month. My first question, just so we're on record here, is that an accurate statement that you guys went from 75 cars on the internet to 320?
Absolutely. That is an accurate statement. That was actually one of the reasons why I picked Bob Ruth Ford, is because one, I saw you guys advertised it. You guys celebrated that and put it out there, and COVID was going on. And the other dealer I was at, we hadn't figured out yet how to open and be able to sell cars yet again. And Rob was on, LinkedIn, Facebook, and he started talking about how he was able to open up. So I was able to mimic from Rob and be able to open my business again. And I was like, these guys understand, they know what's going on. They really know their stuff. And Bob Ruth Ford was my top priority when I was ready to move on.
I had no idea that story, Jenna. I didn't even know this COVID stuff. So now, but I also want to be just very transparent. The world has changed. You guys have evolved to at one point being what you guys call an internet dealership, where the internet is the universe, around the store where everybody is internet focused. Now, approximately, what are you guys selling on the internet now post pandemic?
We are still about 75% of the sales here out of the dealership.
Wow. So 75% of the dealership is purely online internet operations, right?
Correct.
And
Yes.
so would you say that the culture has completely changed where everybody from ownership down to the salesperson and everybody in the middle is all about the internet and the business development aspect, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So is it got to be weird for you, especially in your position at specifically at Bob Ruth Ford, when you hear other people in the Millionaire Car Salesman group or other dealers or other friends of yours at other dealerships, how there's so much drama and there's internet, schminternet, and what have you? You're like, oh my God, guys, what are you talking about? This is incredibly lucrative. It's incredibly valuable. What are you? Does that still floor you when there's people like that, like antiquated, old school mentality when it comes to internet BDC?
Yes, because they're also missing out on a huge opportunity. Like, especially when I talk to other dealers and they're like, you can't sell a car, over the phone, over online. Yes, you can. We do it every day.
No, exactly. And let's pivot to what you just said right there. Okay, that's something that people hear all the time. Oh, you can't sell a car completely online. Well, explain to our audience right now, how do you guys do that? Let's say L.A. Williams, because he's blind, but he still wants to drive cars, right? Let's say he wants to buy a brand new Ford Mustang. Okay, so he's buying a brand new Ford Mustang or what have you. He's going to be a sports car. He wants to go vroom vroom. Okay, he submits an internet purchase request to you. What's your process like?
So what we'll do is we'll reach out to LA. We'll, do our first greeting and everything. We're going to confirm the vehicle. We're going to gather his information and everything. We'll even help you do a credit application so we can start your approval online. We will appraise a trade. We'll exchange trade information, photos to help do a sight unseen trade.
Wait, stop. So, but Jenna, I said he submitted internet purchase request. You could do all of that over the phone. You don't have to make him come in.
Nope, he does not have to come in. So after we get that done is where we transition it over to the sales floor, and the sales floor, they'll even deliver numbers with their trade appraisal, financing, rate, terms, and conditions. And then they even go over the option to set up for home delivery. We have shipping options as well, or they can even do curbside pickup. They do have the option to come into the dealership, but we've already done so much of the process already. If they come into the dealership, they're going to probably be here less than 30 minutes.
So this is crazy. Ellie, I'm sorry. I'm going to give you some airtime, brother. I promise, but I'm loving this right here. So specifically, you make this so easy that the most or all of this is done over the phone and internet, and they can either ship it, they can pick it up at the curb, or if they like to come in for whatever reason, they can, but that's exercise the least. Am I understanding from what Rob Ruth told me that the majority of people don't come in because they don't need to?
Correct.
That's crazy.
Yep. And even the ones who do want to come in, we still prepare so much prior to them coming in. There's still maybe a test drive paperwork and they're gone.
And Rob said that this is good because not only this makes things faster and leaner and more productive, since your staff is not eaten up, and congesting the showroom and congesting the dealership, and people just park there waiting, pissed off or bored or wasting their time. Can you speak about that? It's not just for the customer experience, it's for the ecosystem of the dealership and the employees to be more productive, to do more, be more. Am I right or wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. I was going to say, because it does free them up to, one, get more customers, get in front of more customers, because we're handing out so many internet leads a day that they're able to talk to more customers. They're able to reach out and try to purchase more customers. They can do more throughout their day by being able to be with customers a little bit less. They're able to do a little bit more.
That's fire. That's absolutely fire. So all right, I heard you say that the quote unquote lead, the buyer comes in on the internet, and how many people? Is it everybody's from, right in your same room? Where how does this work?
So I have 3 people here in the dealership, and then I have 8 reps that are over in the Philippines actually that work for us.
Wait a minute, that's crazy.
Where'd you get that idea from? Where would you get the audacity to hire your own team?
How'd you get me?
Say that one more time, I'm sorry.
Where would you get the audacity that you could hire a whole team of people in another country that's your employees? Where'd you get that idea from?
Good conversation from, I think, Sean Bradley.
What? So, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you right now, we have a lot of clients that try to do outsource BDC. And I got to tell you, I don't mean any disrespect, but I think outsource BDC is one of the biggest wastes of monies. And just like, it's just, excuse my language, it's just fuckery. There's a lot of drama and BS. You got to understand, when you have a team of people that don't understand your value package proposition, your social responsibility statement, or your unique value, if they don't understand your CRM, because you got to think about it, if you have an outsourced call center, they got to bounce through all these different CRMs. It's just partial outsourcing. It doesn't work. So what Jenna just said, I want to be clear, is they're not outsourcing. I repeat, they're not outsourcing to the Philippines. They literally hired their own team, their own employees or general contract agents, but there's no middle person. They're there. Jenna, can you explain that? Am I being accurate with how I said that?
You are absolutely being 100% accurate with that. And I think the biggest key thing is we train them just like they were in the store. That's the biggest thing. That's the difference. They go through our same training process. They use our CRM tool. Any training, if you were sitting right here in the dealership, they get.
And the cool part about this is I learned this through my 20 years. I've spoken to over 500 plus NAD and NCM 20 groups over the last 20 years. And recently the trend is I've got dealers that have backup employees in the Dominican Republic, in Belize, in the Philippines, in the Ukraine. And what we like about Philippines, and one of the reasons I think I want you to speak about, is that these are not like regular people. These are people with bachelor's degree, with master's degrees. These are significantly educated, motivated, mature adults with responsibilities that are so talented, and they speak fluent English. Can you please talk about these people?
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say you're 100% correct. I would say at least 4 of my 8 have degrees in customer service. There is a college over there that they will go to get a degree in customer service. And they study English. They are very fluent in English. And a lot of them have customer service backgrounds. They work in call centers. They live and breathe call centers. The one agent was actually telling us that a lot of them live and breathe to get remote jobs to work at home because of how long like the commutes are and stuff over there. They're actually called the nighttime warriors because they feed the economy by getting nighttime jobs and working with us.
That's amazing. And here's the crazy part. Again, LA is going to tell you guys, if you guys need help, or for our listeners, if you guys want strategies like this, you can reach out to LA. He's going to give you a text message and he can turn on and give you a strategy session, how to do this. But Jenna, can you just talk about how cost effective these people are? You have 8 high-level college grads in the Philippines, not 1, not 2, not 6, not 7, but 8 people. You've got to be paying a fortune. You got to be paying like an arm and a leg. How much do these college grads, master degree, brilliant customer service ninjas cost? How much do these cost you guys?
We're paying our people minimum wage.
And what's minimum wage? What's minimum wage?
$7.25 an hour, I think now.
Yo, California people are pissed right now because California minimum wage is like $15 an hour. So you're paying $7.25. You're paying $7. My God, you got to be lying. There's got to be a catch.
No, and even when we first started interviewing a lot of them, their requirements were $4 or $5. That's what their requirements are. Because I'm in PA, by law, I have to pay them minimum wage. So they were getting a raise by coming to me and they were excited. They were so appreciative of it. But a lot of the other states, that's all they would want was $4 or $5. It's a huge labor saver.
Let's talk about this. Obviously, I'm trying to be like enthusiastic and stuff like that, but let's talk about this on a serious level. And we talked about this, if you remember that conversation. It's as for you as a senior executive of the company now, it's got to be a complete paradigm shift, because here we are in the United States. No offense, but sometimes we're struggling to get an ungrateful little bastard that wants $15 or $18 or $20 an hour. And if we give it to them, they half-ass the job. They don't appreciate it. They show up when they want to show up, and they do stuff. And here you have a college graduate with a master's degree that's grateful, like almost like shocked that you're going to give them $7 an hour. I mean, doesn't that change the perspective from management ownership? Like, why are we wasting time with people that don't give a shit, that just want to waste their time when we have a whole nother talent pool over here from this area? Can you speak about that?
Sean, I think you nailed it 100% correctly. people nowadays, they don't want to come to work. They want as much money as they can, but they want to do as little work as possible. They're unreliable. They don't want to show up to work. And when they do come and show up to work, they don't put in 100% like they used to. And these people do. They show up every single day. They work longer hours. They want to work longer hours, and they're reliable. They're dependable. If they miss work, they want to work their day off, if not another day, to make up for it. Like sometimes I have to tell them, you're sick, go home, because they will work when they're even sick.
And they love to train.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'd love to train. That's thank you, LA. That's the other thing. We have to pull teeth sometimes, as a training company. And then but these people, we want more training. It's such a cultural difference. And here's the thing, technology and time in 2023, especially through the pandemic, how everybody got closer because of Zooms and video conferencing and gaming and stuff like that. I mean, the world is a big place, but with technology, it's no different. You being a dealer group and you have a store in Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, and you have another store in California versus having a store in the Philippines. If you're going to communicate with the different rooftops, you do so through Zoom or through the phone or through WhatsApp. So again, I want dealers to hear this. You heard what this woman said, from 75 cars to 320, 75% of all these units are done through the internet department. And one of their secrets to the success is they have 8 full-time, highly qualified, BDC agents that are advanced BDC agents that are in the Philippines that are crushing it. And they're cheaper. They're doing more work. They're doing better work. And they're doing it for a fraction of the cost with what your local talent would have done. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I know people are getting mad right now listening to this, like, damn, because this is only one direction. People I guarantee you, people are in their cars, they're at their dealerships, they're like, how do I get this? LA, how can they get in touch with you so you can teach them how to do this, LA?
So all they have to do is just text the word outsource, right? Just text the words outsource to my number, 267-551-6279. Just text me the words outsource, and I'll, communicate with you, and we'll get you a consultation with Sean, and we'll show you exactly how we break it down for folks. It's beautiful stuff.
But I want to be clear. Don't get confused with the word outsource, because that's what you're going to think of it as. I don't do this. I'm not a broker of bodies and human trafficking and stuff like that. That's not what I do. You know what I mean? I'm an HR specialist. I'm a recruiter. The difference is you're not going to an outsourced BDC company in the Philippines. These people are actually Jenna's employees. So we're saying that we could show you a way that you can hire talent. So Jenna, can you explain this?
Maybe we should change the word, Sean. Maybe we should have them just text the word off-site. How about that? Does that work? Does that work a little bit better?
Yeah, off-site, yes.
Just text the word off-site. All right, cool. So that means if you text me outsourced, that means I know you're not paying attention, right? So text me the word off-site to 267-551-6279. I'm going to change it right now.
So Jenna, is this your, are these your employees or their 1099 agents? Can you explain this process? Because I'm sure people are going to be intrigued. This is the first time that we talk about this on the podcast. So talk to us, what is the classification? First of all, you're in a Commonwealth state of Pennsylvania. So you gave us one pro tip that, again, different states might do different things, but in your Commonwealth state, you have to pay these people minimum wage. Now, are they classified as employees or general contract agents?
General contract agents.
Okay, so you don't have to pay taxes on them or anything. So what's the process? They have to sign a W-2 or a W-4? How does that work? What do they got to submit? Do you know?
No, I was going to say, I do have it written down. There is a tax form that they have to sign. I forget what it is. I do have it written down. But no, they don't have to sign any W-4s or anything else like that.
Okay, and is there any special licensing that you have to do, or a special permission, or special?
Nope.
You don't need anything. You just hire these people,
and they just go. And they literally they want to train me. Let me go.
Absolutely. So for our listeners here, this was a dealer synergy idea that we recommended, and it was a home run idea for them. Can you share, if you will, because I want to put this in perspective. I want to blow people's minds right now. How many appointments were made and sold from your Philippine team last month? Guys, ladies and gentlemen, while she looks up this data, I just asked her how many cars were sold in Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, population 2,500, by a team in the freaking Philippines. You know what I mean?
And the cool thing is she has that information because of the dealer synergy scorecard that a lot of people act like they don't want to fill out. Look, I'll be like, man, when it comes to training, folks, look, there is the training where I'm going to show you what to say and everything's great, right? But then there's another level. There's a higher level that you actually got to put some work in, right? See, that's that football, basketball. That's that sports player money. That's that got to study and actually put some work in and do some. You got to put some paperwork. It's not just talk to you, and you get off and just kind of do whatever you want to do. See, again, there's two different levels, and the sad part sometimes is that people shy away from the accountability side of training. But I always say that a great training program has 4 key elements. Number one, it's got to be good content. Well, all y'all listen to the podcast, so you know we got good content, right? Number 2, it's got to be repetitive. Well, just listen to the podcast over and over. You got repetition, right? Here's the thing that Dealer Synergy, what we bring to the table. You got to be able to practice it, right? So sometimes it's great to sit down with a professional and actually let us hear what it is that you're saying, right? Some training companies offer the practice side, but what they don't offer is the accountability. That is the thing that takes not just from 75 to 150, but that 150 to 320. That's the thing that does it. It's the accountability. As soon as you're ready for the accountability, you'll start blowing and going. Just letting you know. So I'm just letting them know. So Jenna, let us know if you got those numbers in there.
I got it. Now remember, we do things a little bit different with with appointments and proposals. So I added my 2 numbers together.
Yes. Okay,
so good. We did 141 proposals and appointments, and we sold 175 cars from those.
Holy crap. So you sold 175 cars from a team in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes. Now again, what are your average grosses approximately? 560s.
And we did 208 cars out of the dealership last month, 175 out of the internet department, 141 appointments and proposals.
Okay, so 175 times 5K, just putting that there. Guys, that's almost $1 million. That's $875,000. And again, just to let you know, just to put it in perspective, which just blows my mind, $7.25 times 8 people, you're only paying $58 an hour times 40 hours in a week. That's 2,320 times 4.3 weeks. Okay, you're spending less than 10 grand a month in salaries. That's it. Now, I'm sure there might be commissions or bonuses, but those are still not crazy. But to spend less than 10 grand to gross almost 900 grand is just mind blowing. And this is 100% accurate, of course, right?
100%.
LA, why wouldn't people look to turn around and do something like this? Why wouldn't they do that?
I cannot think of a reason. You see what I'm saying? I mean, because for me, look, it just totally makes sense, right? It's such a minimal investment to get the maximum return. Like, you're not going to get that. Listen, y'all know I'm licensed in personal finance. You're not going to find that in no mutual fund, no, you know what I'm saying? It's just not happening.
So Jenna, I got a couple questions for you, because you are, the general sales training director. So that means you run training. So how important is training? Seriously.
It's really important. It's so important from, your BDC agents to your sales team. It's what makes everything happen. If you don't train, you can't do anything.
No, absolutely. So can you talk to us about how did you go from not knowing anything about the automotive from the restaurant industry? Obviously, you're our training client, but what type of training did we put you through and your team through? Can you talk about like what dealer synergy training that you got and your team got that's enabled you guys to do what you do?
So Bradley On Demand, we put everyone through, and I remember going through Bradley On Demand, but I think the biggest thing was the on-demand classes, the categories that you could pick every single month, and you could pick your strengths, your weaknesses, things that you needed to improve on, and the one-on-ones, getting to know your team. And once the team knows you, they're able to help you even more. I saw in my email this morning when I came in, Brianna sent out her monthly temperature checks to a couple of my agents. And that's awesome, because she worked with them. So she knows, like, hey, let me check in with Gladys, see where she's at. And she put like a couple of key things like, hey, Gladys, how are you doing here? and we're able to have that communication, schedule a one-on-one if we need to. And it's that relationship that we have going on and that available one-on-one training.
So for me, I'm going to go through some subjects that we focus with you, and I want you to jump in if I miss something, because I want our listeners to understand that whether you have a BDC or you have a hybrid where you have BDC reps and you have salespeople, which is kind of like what Bob Ruth Ford does, or you just have salespeople and there's no BDC. Here's my thing: if you need or want to be successful in internet sales or phone ups and phone sales, hell, even for showroom sales, if you want to be successful in sales, you need to be training on the following things. CRM, you need to understand all the intricacies, how to use a CRM to be able to maximize your engagement, your effectiveness. Phone skills, whether they're inbound, outbound phone skills, whether they're text messaging skills, there's social media communication skills, there's, data mining, equity mining skills. There's going to be, how to qualify somebody, identify wants, wishes, expectations, utilize objections, rebuttals, also closing techniques. I mean, things like that. There's more to it than just the basics. Am I listening to things that we helped you do? Is there anything else that you think is really important that dealers listening to this need to train? Because people think they're doing training and they're not. They're sampling. They're getting a little nugget here and a little nugget here, but they're really, for the most part, are not enveloped or immersed in training. What other things should they be doing as a trainer?
No, I mean, I think you nailed them all. You really did. I mean, your whole platform covers it all, from things that, sales managers can do, sales floor, to, trade, desking, deals. Your platform covers it all.
Thank you. A lot of people, like, when they get in there, they're shocked that there's almost 10,000 modules. There's literally 8,600 modules. True or false?
You're very true. And the one thing that's nice about your platform is, you said it, people get in there and they're like, wow, where do I even start? And you can go to the certifications and it gives you a path, which is very, very nice, because then it almost takes that overwhelming feeling away, because you can have a path to follow and kind of start there.
Question. I don't think I've ever asked this question to you, and I'm scared just in case we didn't practice this, but I'm gonna go for it. I have faith.
All right, go for it.
What is your favorite content, you personally, in Bradley and Man, that you go to, and what is your employees, your team members' favorite content from you here? What do they get the most valuable utilizing in our system?
So my go-to one is always the phone sales one, because I always believe in going back to your basics. Because you can always do advance, you can always dive into more, get me more advanced, but every once in a while you need to go back to the basics, refresh yourself, regroup before you can go forward.
And what about your team? What do they like the most, or what content do they get a kick most?
I would say the majority of them stick into the phone sales just for being in the BDC, but I know even when the salespeople, they get in there, they stick with the sales process. They like going in there. The sales managers, they go into the sales managers' techniques as well. When you had the new material came out with the girls who were selling, I forget what the one girl's name was, but
Chrissy Burton.
Yes, I dove right into their information right away, just because, one, it was new content, but you want to see what other people are doing and learn from them as well.
Well, just so you know, there's more of that coming soon. I'm telling you, the stuff that we got planned that's about to drop with Chrissy Burton and T Got Your Keys. Listen, they got together at Digital Dealer just a short time ago, and they had some conversations on stage. But there were some conversations off stage. And
That's
I'm
awesome.
telling y'all, from what I heard, like, it's about to go down.
That's great.
For us, Jenna, I'm really proud that we have like a woman like Chrissy Burton, who sold 74 cars in 1 month on the showroom floor, all special finance deals. And we got Cody Carter, who sold 1,200 units last month and made $1.1 million on the showroom floor. These people are signed to us. So if we're like selling records, this is our rock stars and our, that are on there. So talk to me, when you train your people, whether you use us or not. I mean, like, because obviously you're a trainer yourself. You're the general sales trainer. So what is important knowledge to train brand new BDC reps? So let's talk about onboarding.
So we kind of start at the basics. You want to start with your CRM, because that's going to be the first tool they're going to use. They need to understand that. So The introduction starts with the CRM, and then we dive into, the broadly on demand. The next tool they're going to use is the phone. So you want to make sure that they know how to use the phone, and then you want them to understand your process. So the next is teaching them the process and how you want that to look for them. So understanding the process, and then we even go one step further and showing them after the process what it looks like on the sales floor, because you want them to understand how the whole cycle looks and feels like, so that they see the whole picture versus then just what their job's doing.
Yeah, one of the things I really like about working with your team, as I said, they love training. So I just had actually one of your teammates on earlier today, and we were talking, and she's talking about being productive, and I had a conversation. I was like, the results is what is really what matters, right? The effort is what matters, and the results is what matters. The production, just kind of like doing stuff, the busy work, that's not the thing, right? And so I love that, man. If I'm talking to them and telling them something, they like scrambling to try to write it down and everything.
Yes.
And then here's what's even better. They're like, LA, can you go back? Can you say that one more time for me? I just want to make sure I got it exactly as you said it. And then we role play and all of that kind of stuff, man. It's the secret sauce, right? Because listen, you can do, the module's great. You can, say stuff on the phones and things like that. But if you're not open to that correction, right? Because that's the thing. You can say what you heard, but if you're not using the right tone and inflection, right? If you're not implementing the emotion into the game, right? Because you can just say the words and it's be, whatever. But that's not the key, right? The key, because people don't buy logically. The words logically can make sense, but if they don't buy in emotionally. So again, what has to happen is the coordinator, the person, the actual salesperson, you got to buy in emotionally. That way you can pull the customer in. You can attract them into your emotional energy. And then that's how sales are made. Most people don't understand that. So I love what you're saying. It's good stuff.
Jen, I got a couple of questions for you as we start winding down, because I could just talk to you forever. I mean, just you're so talented at what you do. Let's now kind of just change little tracks and give the people, like, just from your perspective, because think about this, what I mean? Like, can you imagine if you were listening to a podcast or in the Millionaire Car Salesman group, and you were watching this amazing woman, Jenna, who just went from, 3 years from nothing, knowledge wise, and then blown up, like, damn, like, holy crap, how'd you do that? Well, we said training. But, honestly, I train a lot of people, and a lot of people aren't at your level, even with like quadruple experience. So part of your success, I just need to give you flowers, is because you are special. You are very gifted at what you do. You've got a great personality. You've got a great attitude. Yeah. Okay. But with that being said, now that I built you up a little bit right here, so help the people that are listening that are not at Jenna's level yet, or doesn't have Jenna's experience. Just what do you see trending? And when I mean trending, because like you said, if you're selling hundreds of cars out of your department, you've talking to a ton of customers, a ton of prospects. What is the consensus of the people that your leads and your prospects and your buyers? What are they really are looking for? Are they still looking for specific inventory? Are they looking for pricing? So is it availability? Is it pricing? What are the biggest wants, needs, and expectations of your prospects, would you say?
I would definitely say pricing and availability, making sure that it's getting a good deal, but I would kind of even wrap getting a good deal with like convenience. I would wrap it in all together. They want to make sure, one, they're being taken care of, two, they're getting a lot in with that deal, but it's almost like, what comes with this purchase, what are the perks with this? So, kind of your value package and what's the benefit with me purchasing with you. I would probably say those are the top three things that we're hearing and seeing right now.
So question on that though, is this, are you guys discounting cars yet, or are you still at list or over list?
We are not discounting cars. We put our best price forward, but we do not discount our vehicles.
No, I respect that. No, yeah. You're my Jedi student. You better not be discounting cars. Yeah, price only value. Good answer. Good answer. General sales training ninja. You know what I mean? For sure. But my question though is then, if our audience is listening, if they're saying, well, Jenna, that don't make sense, girl, explain to me. If you're not discounting cars, but everybody's looking for a deal, that's what I was looking for. I set you up for that.
Mhm.
What is your strategy besides dealer synergy word tracks? But I'm just saying, like, if everybody's asking you for a deal and they want a deal, but you just told me and the millions of people listening to this soon, right, that we don't give deals, well, then how the hell are you selling so many cars? How do you overcome price or strike that? How do you engage a price conscious prospect and still sell them a car at full pop? How do you do that? What's the strategy?
I think pretty much, I shouldn't even say we think. What we do is we start from even when we pick up that phone and talk to that customer, we're engaging an experience with you. We're building, your experience. We're developing that relationship with you. We're pretty much building value in you. If you're calling in and you're solely just on price, that's not a conversation. We wanted to do so much more for you. We're going to, talk about the vehicle. We're going to, do a walk around photo with you. We're going to tell you about all the benefits with purchasing here at Bob Ruth Ford. We are more than just a price. We're more than just a vehicle. And that's what we're going to talk to you about, each from the BDC rep to the salesperson to finance.
Wow, that's phenomenal. Sean, I just want to jump in really quickly because I heard you do something just there. If you want a little bit of being transparent real quick, Jenna, right? You and I just had a training session. You were working with T. T got your keys, right?
Yeah.
And she gave you a suggestion because now you're not just over the internet team. You're over some salespeople. Some of them can be a little grumbly, older, you know what I'm saying? So you got some new challenges, right? And so she gave you a suggestion on how to use your words. And I heard you just do it live here on the air. Can you talk about that really quickly?
It was when I said I think and I switched it to we do.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Explain that.
So one of the things I had said to T was about talking about how, how do I talk to these salespeople, to get them to do something, whether it's a service walk or a trade walk, but I don't want to sound like their mom or their dad or, nagging at them. And T had said, don't say things like I think or I do. You want to extract those words and talk to them like, in our manager meeting, management is making a focus on talking like kind of like a whole, like as a management team versus just the I.
Yeah. And it's not so much feeling words. You're like, and this is kind of like the difference almost between men and women. Sometimes we don't use just speak to me, just give me the facts, right? Just break it down for me. And so, yeah, absolutely. 100%. I noticed that you did that. And I'm telling you, I'm championing you because of that. That's phenomenal.
Thanks, LA.
LA, and back to you, because you're leading the training division at Dealer Synergy here. You and Malik and the rest of the training team, Brianna and everybody over there, you're focused on coaching these people. So what's the advice? I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Jenna. What's the secret to that? Like, if a lot of people are price conscious, they know, holy crap, because the pandemic is, we're 3 years in now, 3 years into this craziness. And I know that we're out, but we still have the residual effects left over. Things are expensive. There's not a lot of cars out there, and they know that they're going to be paying more than ever. How does a dealership overcome that? How did you train, Bob Ruth Ford, Jenna, her team to be able to engage those price conscious prospects and still overcome that to sell cars and gross profit? All right,
here's the thing. So the first thing I start with is the thought process, right? Number one, the game plan is not to be greedy, right? Yes, we're going to make gross, we're going to make fair profit and all that good stuff. But the thought process, you can't be greedy. You can't just be like, right? No, you can't do that. You also cannot be needy. You cannot be having a thought process of, I need to make this sale. So what am I going to do? And so that's not going to work. You have to have the thought process of being seedy, right? And so what do I mean by that? All you are doing is just planting seeds. And of course, there's going to be some people that's like, I'm not doing it. Well, probably it is what it is, right? And you're going to have people who want to do it. So that's the first thing, is the thought process. Secondarily, you got to know what to say. So many times people really, even though they did the word tracks and stuff like that, if I were to ask you what to say, it's not second nature. It doesn't just drop out of your mouth the way it ought to. So what happens is, people hesitate. He or she who hesitates, lost. That's the thing that you got to understand. And so if you drill, just a little while ago, we had Mr. Gino Kyle on here talking about, he's an amazing closer. Why? Because he's got it laid out. He knows exactly what he's going to say because he knows exactly what you're going to say. So many times, the customer's going to say the thing, but you didn't practice 20, 30, 40, 50 times so that it comes out naturally, right? Sean, when you talk about Sean Matson, he was on our radio show and he talked about just taking out of his gun out of the holster as a Navy SEAL, right? Taking the gun out of the holster and aiming it. He did that 100,000 times, right? So that he could basically do it in his sleep. Us as sales professionals, we're not doing that kind of stuff, even though we ought to. So those are the things that I train people on. It's like, hey guys, let's say this thing over and over and over. And when you mess up, let's start from the beginning. And sometimes people get frustrated, right? And I'm like, listen, we're just doing the same thing they do in the NBA or the NFL, on any of these high paid situations, right? They do stuff over and over and over until they've got it down pat.
Jenna, let me just jump in on this. I'm going to give an opinion. I want to hear from you and what your thoughts are. And this is coming straight from Brad Lee. Brad Lee is the founder of Lightspeed and the Dropping Bombs podcast. He's a beast. And what Brad Lee says is that real training, real comprehension, real knowledge acquisition happens with only two things. You can't just watch one little video and you're done, or hear somebody speak, unless they're Jesus, you know what I mean? And they're divine. Real training happens with time, experience. Like video games, you have XP. XP stands for experience points. The more time you do something, the more that you learn, and it marinates, and it gets in the creases. The other thing is, like LA was saying, repetition. So if you want to learn something, strike that. If you want to master something,
that's it.
You've got it. That's it. You want to master something. Okay, to master something, it's repetition over time, repetition time. And that's like, think of those, what I like to go through because of the blind master. I think of like a Shaolin monk. You know what I mean? Like if you could picture LA right now with the long Fu Manchu beard and mustache, you know what I mean? Like to his knees and stuff like that. And he did Kung Fu, but like, can you imagine? But he started as a little baby. Those Chinese people in Shaolin are doing that stuff from 4 years old to like 64 years old for like 60 straight years. They do the same techniques over and over. And I dare you to try to mug one of them people from Shaolin. That'd be your ass.
Absolutely. So guys, listen, we're going to close this thing out in just a moment, but I just want you to know, there's something called the 100-hour theory, right? And literally, if you just study something, you just do something every single day for 18 minutes a day, right? You'll actually get 100 hours when you hit 11 months. It's not even going to take you the entire 12 months, but you will be better than 95% of your competition. 18 minutes a day will get you there. That's all I want you to know.
And Jenna, what I want to say to you is, before I let you get the last word here, is that I am honored to be able to have you guys as a client. Like, I'm proud. I brag on you guys all the time. I mean, the fact that I've been in the industry 23 years and I got in the late 90s. Like, that's a long time, right? And I've never seen a dealership do what you guys did, to go from 75 cars on the internet to a legitimate 320. I mean, like, that is just mind blowing. And in a population of only 2,500. So for you to come into that organization and then navigate out of the pandemic into, this world, and then being creative. That's the other thing, Elliot, I want to just talk about for a quick second, is what's amazing is that they don't just settle for complacency. They're like Rob, Ruth, Rob, Dell, everybody on the squad is, okay, what else can we do? Yeah. I mean, like, again, you guys are like, and I'm cool with this. You guys are with Cardone. You guys are doing this. You guys are doing that. You're always striving to do better. You're never settling. You're never like, you know what? We're great. We're Bob Ruth Ford. And that's what a lot of dealers do. They get caught up with their bullshit. They're thinking they're the ish until somebody else comes in and takes their food. So can you talk about that? How important is it to you and the executive team to always striving for evolution and new stuff to just keep upping your game?
You're absolutely right. I always feel like the executive team here is always one step ahead of the game. When the market's going to change or something's going to happen that's going to affect whether it's the store, the sales, the pricing, the inventory, the car, we're always ahead of it. Whether it's a tool that we use or just the knowledge and the connections that the Robs have, we're always one step ahead of it, and they always take care of us, which is really nice to have that. You know, a little bit ago, people were chit-chatting a little bit about the recession, and literally the Robs were like, we got this, don't worry about it. Like, and they had a plan. They had, and they talked to it all about it, and everybody was like, oh, okay, no worries, they got this. We're good. And it's a nice feeling to have that we're always ahead of it.
Leadership, baby. That's what it is. Leadership is everything. That's what
Jenna,
a lot of people don't realize.
One final question for you. I lied. This is it right here. This is a selfish one. That was a question for you. I got a question for us. I would like your help, but completely transparent and honest right here. Because again, like when somebody brags on themselves, it's one thing, but you've been with us for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the dealership's been with us a lot longer, but your whole 3 years that you've been in the automotive industry, you've been a Dealer Synergy client. Can you just kind of like explain to the audience, what is it like working with me and my team? Because a lot of people are shocked when they see, I don't want to lead you with certain things. So can you just, from your own words, like Scout's Honor, what is it like dealing with all of us in our team? It's not just Sean Bradley Consulting.
No. Explain
that. Because a lot of people think, because I'm the mouth, I have the biggest mouth, and I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Talk about the Dealer Synergy that you know. What is your experience with my team, and why do you feel the way you do about us?
So the experience with Dealer Synergy it's great. Like from Franca with Scorecard, and Franca's like your go-to. She's the buffer. You need anything, or like you don't even know who to go to, Franca's like your go-to. She's your ninja. She really is. You just shoot her an email and it's like magic happens. Like afterwards, everything just gets handled. Magic happens. She emails you back, and everything's just taken care of like right away. And then like it's just really nice because you go through all the training and everything, and you have an issue with Bradley On Demand. You don't have one person to reach out to. You have 3 people you can reach out to. Like you never have to worry about not getting a response, because you have someone that when you email Franca, she knows exactly who you can reach out to, and they're going to respond to you right away. The response time is phenomenal there. And it's kind of nice to have that one-on-one relationship, because maybe one trainer you don't feel comfortable with, maybe one has too big of a personality and you're more of like a laid back trainer. So you need this trainer instead of the bubbly one, which is perfectly fine. I can be too much for people. I know how it is. So I'll set them up. Yeah. I'll set them up with Ariel, who is my assistant, who took over my role. And she's just kind of a little bit more laid back of a person. That's fine. And your team is the exact same way, but maybe you're struggling at some point and they're like, nope, you have to be with LA at this point. He's going to be your go-to to handle it. But even like just the response, I've talked to Malik after hours before, because I got off the phone with somebody or I had an issue, and he still even picks up at 8:00 at night and is willing to help me. LA has talked to me hours before, just because I was going in, thought about something and I needed to talk something out, and he's response like it's a support team that you have, not just a training team.
No, that's what LA was saying before. It's also the accountability side. Like, one of the things I'm really proud of that a lot of people don't even realize, because I love this stuff, you know what I mean? And I try to think, if it was me, what do I need? There's times in LA, I don't know if you're still there, that, we've actually done with your store, TOs and stuff like that. LA.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that, Jenna? Because people don't believe when I say that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I will never forget my experience with LA. It was the first time LA was here, and he was standing behind me. I had a customer. His name was Jim, and he came in and he bought a Volkswagen Jetta from us. But I was talking to Jim and I booked the appointment and everything in LA. He was like, tell him you have a great idea. I said, Jim, I have a great idea. And LA got on the phone, and LA even got more information. Jim was bringing his wife. LA got his wife's name. And, he was like, I'm going to have 2 bottles of water set up for you when you were here. LA met them on the ramp. And talked to Jim and his wife up the ramp, sat them down. We got the salesperson. I will never forget. That was the first time LA was here and worked with me at the dealership. He was standing right behind me, and the blind guy met
your customer on the ramp.
Yep, absolutely. And LA wasn't even behind me when I first started talking to him. He was like 3 people down from me. And it's like LA knew. LA was like, Jenna's got this. And he started working his way down. He knew where it was going to go. I heard the good job, tapped on the shoulder, and he's like, tell me you got a great idea. And handed the phone right up to him.
So that LA, one thing I think of with us that is a little bit different, a lot of it different, is that, anybody could tell you something, Jenna, do this, do that.
Yeah.
I hate that, you know what I mean? Because I'm from the streets and I'm like, yo, you have to show me. If you want me to turn around and risk myself on a block, then I want to see you do it first. Mm-hmm. And I think that whether it's a training company or even management, you have to lead by example. Mm-hmm. If you're willing to walk in the fire, your team will follow you. But if you're just telling your people to go in the fire and you're in the air conditioning while they're getting their ass lit up, they're not going to want to follow you. So for us, we do TOs on the phone. We do TOs in Spanish. We do them in English. Yeah. We do that, right or wrong.
Oh, no, 100%. Because V was here one time and we had a Spanish speaking customer and V jumped on the phone and helped us. And so to jump back to my Philippine reps, I hired a Philippine rep that was trilingual, spoke Philippine, English, and Spanish, and we wanted to hear how his Spanish was, and I called V. V jumped on a Zoom with us.
So and V is our employee, guys. V is our leader of our Spanish division. She's a customer service analyst, but Spanish is her first language, so I just want to clear that. So you called V to test your Philippines skills.
And she jumped on a Zoom and she talked for like 15-20 minutes, called me afterwards, and like literally gave me the whole rundown of everything that they talked about. And she was like, no, his Spanish is absolutely fluent.
So wait a minute. This is hysterical. I forgot about this. So not only do you have 8 people in the Philippines that speak English fluently, one of them is trilingual that speaks English and Spanish, and he's Filipino. Mm-hmm. All right, good. I'm going to stop right here because we're killing them right now. They probably can't even handle LA. So Jenna, what do you want to leave the audience? Like, this is you. Like we asked a lot of questions. This is your time and space to just leave something to the industry. What would you like them to know about you, or about just an idea, or just your opinion? This is like all you, girl.
Oh, wow. Nothing.
Yeah.
Have goals, reach for your goals, have definitely a mentor, someone to help guide you, someone that believes into you. My old general manager, Scott Friends, was definitely that leader for me. He believed in me. He helped me a lot of the way. And then when I got here, both the Robs have given me the guidance. And then even just having the backup of your training team, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the support of all those individuals helping me get to the way where I am today. And you need that support system and to have your goals to help you to where you want to be. But at the end of the day, it is training. How much work are you going to put in to yourself to get you to where you want to be? And I truly believe you got to ask questions. You've got to ask questions. If you don't ask questions, you're never going to find out the why.
Man, I'm telling you, absolutely phenomenal. Jenna, one thing I'll say about you is you are absolutely relentless. You're not some softy girl. You know what I'm saying? Listen, you don't play, right? Mm-mm. And that's one thing that folks going to have to learn. So listen, one of the keys to being successful, she just broke it down. Learn to ask questions. Ask for help when you need it. Listen, if you need some assistance, just reach out to us. I gave you my cell phone number. I'll give it to you one more time before we go. It's 267-551-6279. Send me a message. I will respond back to you. I'm gonna have you put your number in my phone so I know who you are and everything like that. But once you do that, man, you've got an open line of communication. But listen, guys, this is the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. I always say you are the average of the 5 people who you spend the most time with. You've just been spending time with Jenna Blankenbiller, right? She is let's make sure we get it right. The General Sales Training Director of a rooftop that does hundreds and hundreds of cars, right? You're talking to Mr. Sean V. Bradley. He don't even need y'all know who he is. And then the blind master, L.A. Williams. Man, it is your turn. Go out there and be a millionaire car salesman. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
So there you have it, the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. This podcast comes to you every week from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. If you have a question about the show or would like the chance to become a guest, feel free to contact us directly at 856-546-5656. 888-244-2440 or email us at millionairecarsalesman@gmail.com. This program is a presentation of Synergy Records, produced by Tiana Mick and L.A. Williams. Production and engineering by L.A. Williams. The Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast is hosted every week by L.A. Williams and the Millionaire Car Salesman himself, Sean V. Bradley. The Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast can be found everywhere, so please don't forget to review, subscribe to, and share the show. Thanks for listening to the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, and remember, where I'm from, money provides options. If you enjoyed this podcast, then make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave us a review. Let some other folks know about it. Oh, and don't forget to join the Millionaire Car Salesman group on Facebook. We'll see you there.